Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between Tang and Barcode on Echo LE. Now, this is not the same Barcode from the PvZ that we cast a little bit earlier. This is a Terran Barcode. I have to assume it's a different person, but you never know again because Barcode is pretty much used to obscure who you are entirely from your opponent, but Barcode does throw out the good luck, have fun, so a well-mannered Barcode today, and that is your red Terran player here in the bottom right of Echo, the latter edition. And in the top left, as we throw up the production tab, we have Tang, our hero, the blue zerg, blue-purple zerg. In the top left, again, of this map, he throws out the, again, well-mannered, good luck, have fun as well. So, how's this game going to go? I don't know, we're going to speed things up a little bit because these early game of Zerg versus Terran is often not super exciting. We usually see a spawning pool or a hatchery. We see some defense coming up for the Terran player, and we're going to speed it just a little bit along to help it on its way to the more exciting parts of this game. So, one thing I want to point out in Tang's games, if you've been watching on my channel, is that Tang is aggressive. He does not ever let the Terran come to him. He doesn't really want to flank people on the creep and get us around and crush them out there and bleed them and starve them out. He wants to get up into the main, into the natural, kill workers, destroy things as much as he can, and end the game inside his opponent's base. That is what he wants to do. So we'll have to see if he has the same mentality in this game or not. He did go ahead and actually get the spawning pool before the hatchery, as he is wont to do in this matchup. He just feels more comfortable having those lings out, I assume, and doesn't feel like the 15 hatch gives him that much of a boost of an economy to actually make up for the fact that he is in so much trouble against early harassment that Terran can do. So, I like it. I actually might try to copy it because I do actually have trouble with harassment, and maybe if I have early Zerglings, I can do better against it. So he doesn't overcommit though, and here actually comes the Reaper. We're gonna follow this guy. Oh, he decides actually not to go into the base for our Zerg player, but instead just heads back on home. So, never mind, we're not going to follow you at all. We're just going to head up here and take a look at what our friend the Zerg player is doing. Queen coming up, putting 3 workers on the gas now. Does he upgrade speed yet? No, no speed. So again, it's not that Tang gets a whole bunch of Zerglings out with that spawning pool. He pretty much gets a couple for defense, for scouting, for whatever, and then drones up behind it. So, he doesn't really overcommit to things. But it's good to know, I think he feels like it's good to know that he can make Zerglings if he needs them in the future. So we are going to try to snipe down this Overlord, but I think he'll escape onto the high ground before the Marines can kill him. Actually, not any high ground there. Is he going to make it? Yes, with 48 health. Good job, Overlord. Get out of there. Be safe. We're moving back in with the Reaper. We'll see what he is up to. As a Starport's actually coming down for the Terran player. Might see some Banshees or some drops, but oh yeah, with that tech lab, okay, it's going to be Banshees. So it's pretty much a harassment-based Terran player is this Barcode. Checking for the presence of a third. Coming on up there are a couple Queens who are smacking away at it. Drones transferring at a bad time, but I think they're okay. Zerglings chasing around, but they don't have speed. They can't really do much, and the Reaper kind of hangs out. Gets on his combat drugs, gets healed up, and says, "Peace, I'm heading out. I got my scout. I saw what I needed to." I think he saw the lair mutating. If we go to... Yes, he did. So good scout from him. He sees the timing on the lair. He knows that it's no real crazy Baneling attack coming in. Most likely there'd be a Baneling nest already. Probably not going for a lair. So he can feel comfortable. His front door isn't particularly well protected against the Baneling bust. But actually, here come the Hellions, which I've completely missed the factory coming up at all. They come on in. They do manage to roast a single drone. Do they get a second one? Yes, maybe. I think they got another one there. Reaper coming in too. He wants his kills, but no. Actually turns that drone into a spore crawler temporarily to keep it alive. So good play there from Tang. And it's 42 to 26 harvesters. Holy cow. Tang is macroing up like crazy. And now Barcode is walling off. And we have a Roach Warren, as usual, Evolution Chamber upgrading, and with this lair, I think we're going to see Hydralisks, just because that's what Tang likes to do. He likes to go Roach Hydra, even against Terran. Even though tanks do super well against that composition, he still feels like, I guess that race, yeah, tanks do well against that composition. He still feels like he could do well enough with those units to win games, especially with the Viper help, so we'll see what he does. Our friend, the Reaper, coming up, tries to deny that hatchery, almost times it perfectly, but instead does get met by this queen, gets smashed in the face by a few spines, and is forced to retreat on home. Creep tumor coming up, extending the creep over to the third. Very important to do, so your queens can move around to defend. And actually, here comes a Banshee. Let's follow him. This is kind of fun. Banshee comes on in, but there's a Spore Crawler right there. He is ready for that. Oh boy. Tries to find a spot where he cannot be detected, but unfortunately, no, there is nowhere like that to be found, as there is an Overseer. Banshee does get a single kill, but really not what she wanted. She wanted to get a whole lot more drone kills than that, and instead is forced to retreat away. And hatchery coming on up. Overseer morphing here. We don't want to be caught off guard by a Banshee at the third base, that is for sure. Tank up here to defend. And yeah, production tab, I lost that. Yep, there's the Hydralisk Den coming up. Another Banshee coming out. And one thing about all this harassment is that it pretty much delays your tech for a Terran player who maybe isn't at a Grandmaster or professional level. It can take so much APM and so much micro to do that harassment that if you don't make it pay off by killing a lot of drones, it can actually put you back in the game and hurt you quite a bit. So at this point, at the 10-minute mark, we finally see barracks coming up. We finally see tanks being made. I mean, the units tab is like 2 Banshees, a tank, and 6 Marines right now for our Terran player. Just not very healthy, but he does have a third base, which is nice. Knocking down this cooling tower to create rocks to protect against attacks coming from here. So really only has to defend this area here, which is nice for him, especially because tanks can cover that fairly well. But third base up, income tab is 64 to 45 harvesters for our Terran player. Infestation pit coming up for those Vipers that I mentioned that Tang likes so much. Hydralisk 10 researching increased speed and range. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing now. Banshee comes in, gets sniped immediately. I don't even know if he got any drone kills at all. Or again, she, rather. Doesn't look like it. Just, again, good Overseer placement, good Queen placement, good Spore Crawler placement. I guess Spore Crawler could maybe be over here. Might be a little bit better, but whatever. Tang knows what he's doing. He's better than I am. And yeah, see, there's the debris creating that blockage. For anybody that tries to attack this third base from that angle, he has to get through there first, which is really nice. Tanks coming up. Do we have upgrades on those tanks? We do not. Marines coming out. A whole lot of Marines. Yep, lots of Marines upgrading that concussive shell. So are there Marauders yet? Are there any Marauders? Yes, there is a Marauder, but mostly Marines. Maybe I would have liked to see... what is it? Combat Shield? That's the one. See, Combat Shield come up for the Marines. Bit of a brain fart there. Banshee with 1 kill and cloaked already, kind of scouting around. Probably should save that cloak for later, Banshee, but nope. Instead, wants to stay heading out here. Does not feel safe at all, pretty much anywhere. Scouting around, taking a roundabout way, checking, is there a 4th base here, she says? And no, there's not. There is creep, but there is no 4th. Gonna scout around, running out of mana pretty quickly here. If you're gonna kill something, you better do it fast. And okay, here comes the drop. Let's follow this. Yeah, here comes a drop with some Marines at the back. The drones all do pull. Don't know if that's entirely necessary, but does force it away with a single roach and a whole ton of drones and a queen. Oh, another drop over here, though, that I almost missed. Drones responding to this one as well, because there's a huge attack coming up here into the third. Roaches and Hydra smashing everything down, coming up pretty much unopposed, smashing down that third base. Drones are actually forced to clean all this up, which is kind of sad. But Tang, does he want to defend against this is the question. Yeah, he feels happy having taken the third. He needs to protect his home. Whole bunch of drones left. It is 66 to 45 harvesters. He did lose some drones there, just again because he was forced to defend with drones, which is nothing you want to do, especially against Marines and Marauders like that. Not fantastic. Marine hanging out here, scouting for the presence of a 4th there, and a 4th here. Are we going to take it? A couple Overseers with this army. But again, you notice how Tang came on up. He did not wait for the Terran player to attack. He pretty much said, I'm going to take your third base. Bam, thank you so much. And it was gone. And now it's 190 to 132 supply. There is pretty much a giant standing army of Roaches and Hydras with +2/+1 upgrades for our Zerg player. No upgrades on these tanks. 1-1 upgrade on these Marines, and researching combat shield now, a little bit late. That survivability is really nice against roaches and hydras, but again, I guess it doesn't make too much of a difference. And here comes the attack from Tang. He's on the offensive. He's going to say, is there a base up there? Actually, no, taking down this debris instead. The DPS of this army is great. It's just so many tanks, if there are a lot, can pretty much smash them into oblivion. Now taking out the debris that was so carefully placed down by our Terran player Barcode. Small drop up here does force the pull of the drones over here, but again, moving it on, there is no third base. Tang says, okay, I've got the Terran contained on 2 bases. I'm pretty confident about that. I haven't really scouted everything, but the Terran doesn't like to really do bases everywhere. He wants to keep them close to home. They are easier to defend that way. So he heads on back. I don't know. I feel like he could push the advantage here, but again, I guess he feels happy enough being on the 3 bases, now on 4 bases almost, to the Terran's 2 base, not recognizing that the Terran actually has a 3rd base now. In Cub, we show 63 to 47 harvesters. He's still up in the income tab there. Pooping on this potential 4th is this Overlord. And these guys are hanging out right here, preparing for a drop, I guess. But the drop's actually going to head back to your main, Tang. Oh no, you could find it, right? Viking clearing out Overlords, good play there from Barcode. And a small group of roaches are ready for this drop. With their +2/+1 upgrades, it makes them really tough for Marines to kill. How about here, says the medevac, but no, recognizing there's a whole ton of guys here as well. And here comes the big push. Now, what I said about Tang not waiting for the Terran player to come out, actually, he's waiting now. So we're going to zoom out a little bit to see this big attack. Marines and Marauders at the front, tanks at the back, and actually Banshee in here as well. But here comes the Viper, throwing down Blinding Cloud on those siege tanks so they can't attack anything. Hydras and Roaches moving in, sniping down one more of the tanks, 2 of the tanks. There are still a couple tanks in the back there, but they are blinded as well and forced to be cut down by these Roaches and Hydralisks. All that left are Marines, a couple tanks in the back, but they get abandoned, unfortunately, and everybody is forced to retreat. Roaches and Hydras pushing in, pushing the offensive. Somehow I lost my connection to BattleNet, and all my friends are signing on again. Zooming back in for the attack. Hydralisks moving on in. Are they going to snipe down this orbital again? Yes, I don't see really any way for the Terran player to defend it. He's trying to defend this low ground, but not the right choice, as the Hydralisks are going to go ahead and snipe down this orbital command as it tries to fly away. Yes, it does fall. Good concave at the top of the ramp. Tanks smashing stuff down. So this actually, Roach Hydra army might be forced to retreat, and yes, they are. Forced to retreat back up the way they came from on Echo, but again, sniping that 3rd base was huge for Tang. And now he's on 4 base to 2 base against the Terran player. What can Barcode do? I don't know what the answer is going to be. He is pretty much in a world of hurt. Roaches and Hydras, are there any Vipers on the field at this point? Yes, they are, and here they come. Vipers are a nice unit and pretty much integral if you're going to take on tanks like this with Roach Hydra. To take them out of the game is super important. Big concave here. Roaches and Hydras sniping everything down. Tanks doing terrible, terrible damage from behind, but actually I don't think the Vipers were even necessary that time, as the Bio Ball was destroyed. Here come the Mules, and Barcode calls the GG. That is it. So Tang wins another game on his march to Grandmaster. Congratulations to him. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily StarCraft 2 upload. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And as always, you take care of yourself until next time.